some confusion in the government's approach to the use of body-worn cameras by members of the security forces. Now, back in November in 2024, amid rising police fatal shootings, Indicom as well as some civil society groups reiterated the call for police to be outfitted with cameras. Those calls prompted a somewhat dismissive response from the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang.
Because you're being shot at. And it has, the JDF had used them before in the helmets, and they proved quite invalid because they fell off, they got knocked off, and they have very little value in those situations. So the first we're equipping are the PSTB formation, which is dealing with the public in public order. It is of very little value, and it is, you don't need to be an expert to understand it. You put a helmet, a camera on your chest, you start shooting at somebody. First they start shooting at you, you're going to die for cover.
So, no sooner had those words been uttered, the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, had this to say.
The government of Jamaica is committed to the deployment and use of body-worn cameras for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and indeed, where necessary, for the JDF.
Argument done, or so you would have thought. But recently, Dr. Chang, seemingly annoyed by questions about police shootings, suggested that some civil society groups wanted to see an increase in murders so that they could collect blood money from their donors. Donors, by the way, which included the likes of the European Union.
The idea is that the police is a corrupt body to extort people. It's a wrong legacy, it's incorrect, and I cannot support anything that seeks to reinforce that. And that's what the call for cameras to be used all the time does. We are not objecting to criticism, but it's time we trust our own people and time we respect our own professionals.
But hold on. Then the PM, who no doubt would be pleased with the reduction in murders, has always maintained a desire to see the police operate in a transparent manner.
So all the people talking about cameras and body-worn cameras, come on man, the government knows what it is doing, and we are moving with speed and alacrity to have it installed. You know, it is in the government's interest, in your interest, that our police officers have body-worn cameras, and as fast as possible we want to have those deployed. But we don't want to have cameras that we put on and then it doesn't work. It's not about cameras, it's about an ecosystem where each officer can capture the situation that confronts them and have that evidence capture stored in a retrievable way, but in a secure way that it cannot be manipulated so that it reaches evidentiary standards for court proceedings. That
Argument done again. Who going to argue with the Prime Minister? Solid, agreeable, and as I say, a consistent desire that police operations are transparent and the police are accountable. But once again, Dr. Chang has dismissed calls for cameras in police operations, saying that they increase the risk to officers and that they're ineffective in the combat situation, suggesting that his position hasn't really changed since November 2024.
When your guns start going across your head or over your head, you're going to dive, you're going to find cover, even if you're a policeman, and look for a place where you can find a space to, in fact, return fire. No research have shown cameras, no research, and you can quote me, that cameras are a valuable piece of tool in special operations of that sort.
Well, somebody needs to advise the Prime Minister then, because once again, the PM was emphatic in his opposition to Chang's position.
JCF embraces wholeheartedly the use of body-worn cameras. The leadership of the JCF has been very proactive in securing the best technological platform and ecosystem to support the full deployment of body-worn cameras. But the JCF, like all other public bodies, are subject to the rules and regulations that guide how we procure this well-needed equipment. And so they have already secured, by my last check, 1,000 or so cameras, and others are in procurement. The government will supply the necessary budget to ensure that all formations that require the use of body-worn cameras are so equipped. So I make this announcement here in the hopes that the public concerns that have been expressed in various media and in various quarters can be allayed. It is the intention of the government to provide the security forces with all the equipment that they need to ensure that their policing is transparent and that there is a process of capturing data, capturing their interaction to make it evidentiary and to make it prosecutable so that we can ensure that there is confidence and trust in the actions of the police.
Indeed. Surely argument done. So which is it? Chang's view that the clarion calls for cameras is misplaced and indeed casts aspersions on the police? Or is it, as the Prime Minister maintains, absolutely necessary to have body cams in all operations in order to convince the population police are acting within the law, and that everybody, as should be the case, will celebrate the reduction in murders and the police efforts to tackle the criminals? And by the way, if you're as confused as someone finding metal in their sugar, Indicom has rejected claims by Dr. Chang that the police would be at greater risk if they use body-worn cameras on planned operations. The Oversight body says it's noted Chang's comments with critical concern. According to Indicom, where no independent footage exists, the investigators as well as the courts are often left to assess life and death incidents based solely on conflicting verbal accounts. In 2025, last year, Indicom investigated some 311 fatal shootings by security forces, a 65% jump over the previous year, 2024. And last year, 50% of those killed by the police were shot during planned operations. Since the start of this year, there have been 105 fatal shootings by police compared with 102 last year. And those are my views.
That was Simon's views on the Hotline.
We've seen a lot of our customers make some good moves over the years. Whether it's sharing a hug with a friend you haven't seen in a long time or sharing a meal, Grace has been there. So let's keep making these moments together, because rest assured, every time you choose Grace, you know you're making a good move.
Calling all road users. It is time to fix the risk in 2026 at the Grenell's Driver and Traffic Safety Workshop and Expo, Monday, May 4 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Every day in Jamaica, lives are lost, but you can learn from expert facilitators on how to use cutting-edge technology like AI to help prevent crashes. Register now